racists love to talk about how, when you look at the data, how black males commit an outsized portion of crime. What people don't talk about is who are the victims of that crime.
Willie D. Live.
Right? Like if you're beating the shit out of your wife and the cops come, well, you fucking know, right? You know that they're supposed to be there. You might act indignant, right? It's just like we see all these videos of these thieves nowadays who are like the most indignant thieves in the world, like screaming and yelling, like, how dare you arrest me? That shit's all insane.
You're talking about Trump?
And I'm just talking about the anecdotal evidence on social media. That shit's crazy, right? People seem entitled to steal. But we have this huge wedge. And we also have the idea that's propagated, in hip hop culture. You better not snitch. You better not interact with the cops, right? And I've always wondered, what's the root of that? Because really, if you're the government, right, and you're the evil people pulling the strings that none of us ever see, wouldn't it make it better for the government if, with the rare exception of when an African American kills a law enforcer or somebody they want to protect, wouldn't it make it better for the government, for the black community, not to want law enforcement in their community? It just makes their job easier, right? And it's crazy because who suffers the most from real crime? Right? If we did away with drug enforcement, with the exception of narco terrorists and, real big shit like fentanyl and meth, and we just focused on making communities safer. So we had no more negative interactions. If you get pulled over for driving crazy, you get your fucking tickets and you go on. There ain't no searching your car, hassling you, making people see police as the bad guys who dehumanize them. And instead, cops just focused on victim crime. It would be an incredible benefit to black America, right? Because racists love to talk about how, when you look at the data, how black males commit an outsized portion of crime. What people don't talk about is who are the victims of that crime. It's almost overwhelmingly black men and black women. Right? And when you talk about the higher percentages, it's still this small fraction. It's a larger fraction, right? But it's still a hugely small fraction. And if we had police that's whole job was to just make communities safer, right? And you allocated police resources that way, then the overwhelming majority of police resources would be dedicated to African American communities and the people that fucking suffer. Right. And, I went to, of the 7 elementary schools I went to as a poor kid, the one I went to longest was predominantly African American. Right. And the people that suffer, whether it's the huge outsized rates of violent misbehavior in inner city schools or just living in communities that are beset by crime, are law abiding African Americans. And no one talks about them, right? And then, well, how does that impact worldview, mindset, all this stuff, or just fucking opportunity? So when you look at this whole don't snitch, don't talk to the fucking police, a lot of it, obviously rooted in disparate treatment and systemic racism that existed for decades in the United States, but has largely, especially in big cities where we have, African-American administrators at almost every large department and with a lot more diversity, it's been resoundingly pushed back. There needs to be a different conversation,